Oh no. There you go. Sorted. Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream on Fantasy Football Scout. Today we're joined with Gianni. Of course, he's back. And a mad week. Nearly every team scored except United. So how are you, Gianni? Welcome back.
Mate, Liverpool, the only team that kept a clean sheet. So you're right. It literally was Man United, the only team that didn't score. But yeah, I'm very well. Nice to see everyone. Happy Sunday evening to you all. Shout out to some of our favourites in the chat as well. Hello, Lewis and Anton and Justin and Dylan. People from all over the world, which is lovely to see. It's been a good day of football, though, isn't it? Like, proper good day of football. I know for you, you saw Spurs lose, but other than that, like, it's been entertaining.
Yeah, no, I have to say it's been very entertaining. Of course, Haaland owners getting the better of me at the start, and coming before that Liverpool game, man, I don't know what I was thinking. It was just my head was all over the place. I'm not gonna lie, and I know a lot of non-Haaland owners were the same. But yeah, overall, very good game week of football. But now we have that international break, of course. So we've a 2 week break, 1 week international, and of course a week until the game. So long weeks ahead, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, mate, this is why I don't talk about mid-game week ranks ever. If you've ever watched my streams on a Sunday morning or a Saturday night, or you've seen me on Twitter, you will never see me uploading my team halfway through a game week. It makes me feel sick. Like, don't do it. And don't read too much into it. Like, it ain't, I said this morning on a stream, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Like, all the Haaland captainers out there that were ready to really point the finger at the likes of Chai that went without. And yeah, you've had a good week. It's great. Like, you should enjoy your wins, absolutely, but don't take it as gospel that you're going to be on this big fat green arrow when the likes of Mo Salah haven't played yet. Like, it's, genuinely, you won't get me to, if you ever see me talk mid-game week rank, like, call me out on it. Just it's a load of rubbish. But now it's Sunday night, we can absolutely talk rank.
No, it's gas because of course I think just if this Salah game was before Haaland and he had done what he done, and then us Salah owners were a small bit smug, and then come Haaland's hat trick, I think Twitter would be going absolutely ballistic at the Salah owners. So I think because the Salah captainers are a smaller minority, you're not going to hear as much about it. But yeah, delighted with the result, of course. Okay, so Jenny, I'm going to bring up my team on how I done this week. I'll bring up your team as well after. So me, I scored 73 points. I have to say, after everything that happened this week, I mean, I have to be happy. I was probably 4.5 million in the world, and now I'm back up to 1.5 after looking after the Salah goal and 2 assists.
Well, wait. You started the game week around 1.5 million. You were up to 4.5 million halfway through a game week when it doesn't count, and now you're back at 1.5. That shows how pointless mid-game week ranks are. You've just literally quoted it. Like, the 4.5 million was never in, mate. You were never 4.5 million.
I agree.
Yeah.
But to the Haaland
Load
owners,
of rubbish.
apparently I was.
Load of rubbish.
But it is what it is. I know a lot of people were. Man, when Haaland scored that hat trick, Twitter was not a nice place to be. I don't know about you, Jenny, because you're a non-Haaland owner as well, or
No, I own Haaland.
oh, you
Like, I
own
know
him.
here I am. I know I'm ranting like a non-Haaland owner. That sounds bitter. I'm not at all. Like, I'm happy. I've got Haaland. It's great. But honestly, like, it's just such a waste of our breath. Sorry, I'm coming on here to rant Sunday night. Call me the Chris Sutton of the scout world. But honestly, like, hearing you say you're a 4.5 mil. No, you weren't. You weren't 4.5 mil. You were 1.5. You're still 1.5.
Yeah, so it seems that we're still a very small minority. I know FPL Raptor, who's also a non-Haaland, and of course FPL
Yeah, Mark
tactician Andy
Sutton's
Martin.
too.
Mark Sutton's as
The
well.
founder, the founder of Scout.
So there's a small group of us, and we're after surviving another week. We live to tell the tale once again. I suppose it was kind of creeping into my mind about Wildcard, but I don't think I was ever going to do it, regardless of the outcome of what Salah done. But of course, it's a bit more insurance now. I can go into next week quite happy. So I scored 73 points. My transfer in this week was Rodgers and Watkins. Watkins, of course, getting the jammiest assist of all time. Gee, I suppose you'd agree with that because you brought him in as well. And of course Rodgers, who didn't look too great, I'm not going to lie, but I think at 5 million, I don't know what I really expect. João Pedro off the bench. Happy with the 8-pointer, I suppose, even though he didn't start.
Massive.
Yeah, but he's still good going forward with Ipswich at home next week. So overall, not a great week. Of course, when Haaland bags a hat-trick, it looks even worse. But I think we got away with one. So Jenna, I'm going to pull up your team now.
Oh, I want to go through yours, mate. Yours is great.
You want to go through? Okay.
Let me give you a couple of things on yours
pointers,
because well, I wish. No, I want to. This is Chai's early thoughts. We can't spend 30 seconds looking at your points.
I have my other team to show as well.
Yeah, we'll see your bus team. But look, let's review the game week that's just finished because it doesn't show bonus points for Salah. So just to clarify, right? Salah matched Haaland, right? If you captain Salah, you got
34.
I think same as Haaland, I think. So yeah, that's wicked. The Watkins shout, because this is a player we both took. I took him in on a hit. So you did a right out of that. Like 5 is fine. What did you make of that assist?
I mean, he definitely touches the ball.
Do you reckon? Do you reckon he does? Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, he touches the ball. Like there was this specific angle they showed, and I'm not saying it because I was the owner. I looked over to my brother and I said, "That's a Watkins assist." He looks at me and goes, "No chance." Love scores after giving it to Ramsey. And I was like, "All right, let's see what official FPL put out." And then they put out that he got the assist, and I was like, "That's not going to be overturned. He did get a touch." But I can completely understand the other point. Like you said, I don't know if I'm happy with Watkins. He didn't look great, and of course another early sub, and with João Pedro on the bench, it kind of stings a small bit. But I think if you look at it on paper, I was always going to start Watkins against Leicester after bringing him in. So overall,
it's quite good though, isn't it, with Watkins? Like in a way, like yes, we didn't get the minutes, and yes, there's a slight concern now because he's coming off at an hour. So much so, I don't think many are going to buy him game week 4 now, and maybe that works to our advantage. If he does go and bang game week 4, we'll be differential owners. I think as it was forecast, we were just getting on him a week before everyone else. But maybe those early subs will put people off. Completely understandable that it will put people off. I don't know if I'd buy him next week. But yeah, we've made our bed with Watkins, and I guess we'll lie in it. But yeah, mate, I mean, we've got super chat in from Emre. That's nice. The real winner is Haaland and Salah owners. It really is, isn't it? If you own both, you're laughing.
Sebastian says, "Chai, bring up your sound." Okay, I'll put my mic a bit closer. Hopefully that's a bit better. I think, I don't know if you watched the Newcastle Spurs game, Johnny, but Pedro Porro was picking up some great positions. He had so many shots and he was always looming outside the box. Of course, no clean sheet. I don't think we expected one, but I mean, I'm quite happy as a Porro owner going forward.
Mate, I think he had more shots than any other player in the game. I think they said that on commentary, didn't they? And a few of them hit the target. Like I was sitting there thinking he's going to score one of these 30-yarders. And then even that direct free kick he got, he's clearly very dangerous. The amount of times Spurs go short corners as well, I noticed it game week 1, seen it again today. A lot of the time it's sort of Maddison out to Porro for a cross in. And we saw that early on with the Romero disallowed goal. It was a Porro cross from a corner. So yeah, Porro looks dangerous. Like, yeah, it's a 1-pointer today, but you're going to get loads of attacking returns there, aren't you?
Yeah, so I think it's mostly for the fact that our team in general is not great in the air. Even Van de Ven, when he was fit, is not great at all. But yeah, I think Porro is a definite hole going forward, which we'll get into with my bus team. But Dean Henderson finally getting 6 saves, so an extra 2 points on his clean sheet wipeout. Then Leicester home next week, which looks good, but have to be happy with the 4 points. Do you own Henderson, Jenny?
I do. For once, we got a return because we had a single, then we had a double. So 1 and a 2. To get a 4 feels like a proper return for a goalkeeper for once. Because Flecken had a couple of 4s or 3s, didn't he? So yeah, decent for Henderson. Got the 6 saves. Chelsea clocked a higher XG today and they scored 1 goal than last week when they scored 6 versus Wolves.
That is
amazing.
Mad. So yeah, I think I'm happy with Henderson for the time being. I just mean I'm not going to bring in anyone for him, so I'm happy to hold him, I suppose. Trent, of course, with the clean sheet, an offside goal. Unfortunately, I thought I was in the money again. But I think
you had Salah.
Yeah. But you're happy, of course, with that clean sheet. Very good, that Liverpool defence. Even Robertson is looking an excellent option now, and Shimikas doesn't look like he's going to take too many minutes off him. But we'll see with the likes of Champions League what happens with that. Robinson again with another assist for Fulham. No clean sheet, but fairly happy with that, even though he only clocked 4 points. I think in general as an asset, he's always gonna come up with assists in random weeks, and I don't know how good Fulham are as a defence, but I think you're happy to own him right now, and they have another good fixture next week.
Yeah, man, we're both on Robertson. We're laughing there because last 2 game weeks, it's like, no clean sheet, but still gets the assist. And actually, game week 2, he could have had 2 assists quite easily. Game week 3, again, yesterday, he could have had 2 assists. Like, they're ticking over nicely for Robinson. He's upped his game. Like, he's always been a good player, but Fulham fans will tell you, he's like, they'll do well to keep him next season. That's how good he's been.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. And when you're looking at the 4.5 band and you're looking at any of those 4.5 million assets or 4.6 with upside, obviously Rico Lewis and Robinson are the clear favourites now, just because they actually offer attacking returns, unlike, say, a Dunk or a Konza that don't really offer it in the same degree.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, Bruno Fernandes from that game. Maybe I wasn't expecting anything from Bruno going into this week. I was hoping he could nick something.
Yeah.
But again, Southampton away next week. I think he's another hold for another week. Diogo Jota, of course, coming off a bit early for Darwin Núñez. First time is it the first time we've seen Darwin? I think we might have seen him for
we've seen
last week.
Yeah, Jota off for Darwin before. That's going to be a regular change, isn't it? Same with Diaz and Gakpo. But if we're also thinking that Trent and Robertson for Tsimikas and Bradley is going to be a normal switch as well, then maybe we take that. You go, these assets are good enough in 75 minutes to still have them. Like Jota at that price is still worth having, even if you tell us he's never going to get more than 75 minutes, but always get 70 minutes. You go, yeah, I'll probably take it.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, Mohamed Salah coming in clutch with the goal and 2 assists. Absolutely delighted with that. I mean, I like it. Kind of takes a bit of weight off my back. I can finally show my face again. But yeah, I mean, he is the GOAT. This touchline winger is probably one of the best in the league at doing that touchline winger thing. Of always returning. But yeah, no. So he's I think he is matched with Haaland in terms of points in the first 3 game weeks. For 2.5 million less. So I'm not going to say who the winner is, but that doesn't matter. Very happy with Salah, and I think it makes a bit more sense now after the Liverpool game why some of us would go without Haaland and maybe try do things a bit differently to what's normal. Again, Rodgers not coming up with any goods, but again, for 5 million, he's not gonna smash it every week. And then Son, who was, I thought, getting in some great positions, but didn't return. And Tottenham weren't too bad. I think a 2-1 result for Newcastle was quite unfortunate. I think we did enough to maybe win the game, but it is what it is. And we go into next week at the North London Derby. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. No Declan Rice, of course. What did you think of that red card, Jan?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it going, where did he kick the ball away? It was so faint, like, and actually, then you watch the first game today, and a lot of Arsenal fans would have watched the first Sky game today in Spurs Newcastle and seen the ball kicked away 5-6 times. It happens every game. Like, refs don't usually book players for that, not those little kickaways. Like, that's more of a sort of little sportsmanship, tactical thing. So harsh. Rice never been sent off, but Son's 2 points. This is still without bonus points, what we can see on screen. So Son actually got a bonus somehow. You know the new BPS chart, the 4 new metrics. One of them is shots on target rewarded, but another one is get fouled, get rewarded. Son got fouled a couple of times, I'm guessing. And it didn't feel like a game where Son was going to nick a bonus point. Like, he didn't do much. He wasn't overly creative. A few of his crosses didn't find anyone, and they're not rewarded in the bonus because they're not successful crosses, but or chances created. But interesting that Son still got both of us a bonus. I mean, we'll see your bus team in a minute. I want to talk to you about Son and Bruno in particular as sort of where you're maybe making your transfers. So, yeah, let's check out my points and then have a look at your bus team. But yeah, I mean, similar to you, I had an all right week. I took a 4-point hit though, so my points are like a little bit fake. Like, did you say you got 73?
I got 73, yes.
Yeah, it's the same. I got 73, but with a -4. So I got 69. But yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it to be one move ahead, I guess, with Watkins. The negative for me is because I used a -4 this week, because I've used my transfers, I don't have transfers banked to get to Salah, which arguably a lot of managers that don't own Salah have got. They'll have 2 free moves to get to Salah. I have a clear route to Salah. It just requires another hit. So I can go Son out to Salah and then Isak down to João Pedro, for example. I've got the money to do that. But it's for a 4-point hit. My other options, I guess, would be to like go, I don't know, Son or Gordon out to a Luis Diaz or a Szoboszlai or an Eze. There are 3 midfielders I like, the 2 Liverpool lads and Eze. And that was Eze before today, by the way. I was looking at possibly buying him. So I guess the big question Chai, is like if you're a team like me that can reach that combination of Salah Haaland with 2 transfers, do you go for it? Because so far the double up has been the winner. Like we can talk till the cows come home about the Haaland teams versus the Salah teams, but really the teams that deserve our airwaves are the ones that backed both, and a few did. Shout out Praz, by the way, if you're
Yeah,
watching.
absolutely.
What do you make of that? Because I can get to both, and I think a lot are going to get to both, especially knowing game week 5, no one wants to captain Haaland because he's got Arsenal.
Yeah, so I think you're probably right with going to a Salah from Son, with the North London derby. Even though he could pick up something, you're probably guaranteed maybe a few more points with the likes of Salah at home to Forest. And of course, João Pedro, who is starting the season very, very well, and his minutes look fairly nailed. He's not going off with Brazil, and for me, Isaac has looked fairly quiet. I know he scored today, but he was completely out of the game today, and the only reason he picked up the bonus was because, of course, the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would do that move. I think if I were in your shoes, again, it's another hit can be a tough one to take, but you really do expect Salah to heavily outscore Son this week coming. So are you happy with this week? Obviously, it could have been better, but with the likes of Salah doing so well, of course it's not going to be perfect for you either. How does your team for next week look, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit short at the back. Like I have a dreadful back line. Here I am looking at taking a hit to maybe accommodate Salah, but I'm neglecting the back. Like Trent is brilliant, Robinson is brilliant, but then I've got Lewis Hall as my third defender. This is a squad still with Barco. This is a squad still with Ben Johnson. I do think Ben Johnson starts for Ipswich game week 4 because they're playing away to Brighton. I think they'll play a back 5, which means he plays because Tuanzebe plays right centre back, Johnson right wing back. That's not the case when they play at home, when they've gone with a back 4 with Tuanzebe. So yeah, no, I'm all right. I mean, I'm happy with my team. Like, I don't think I want double Newcastle attack much longer. And I'm okay offloading Son. I would like to keep Son, but I'm okay offloading him. That double Villa attack looks rubbish because it's not been producing the points. But honestly, I really think Watkins-Rogers is going to be a combination that in the next few weeks does produce points. So let's see. So yeah, fairly happy. It's
quite funny.
But look, let's go on.
It's quite funny you ended up with Watkins and Rogers because we hadn't talked about it at all. And I saw you were bringing in Watkins, so I thought that was fairly mad. But yeah, disappointed week. But
Come
I think
out of
you're
nowhere,
right.
mate.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that pairing could do quite well in the future. They have a good fixture run as well. So let's see.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, then we'll move on to Chai's bus team because Chai, I'm really intrigued about a couple of your potential moves here. And you and I, neither of us really spoke publicly much about Watkins, and both of us just went for it. Or you may have done in your vids, but which I didn't see. But when we were chatting together, you've got. Is it fair to call Bruno a problem or not? Is Bruno a problem?
I think I seen a stat today. I don't know who posted it, but he's got the same amount of XG as Salah. He's just not converted. So don't quote me on that. I think I saw that. And it's just like, obviously Mo Salah is a lethal finisher, don't get me wrong. But you could also say Bruno has been maybe a tad bit unlucky. I feel like he should have scored at least once in that first game as well. But it is what it is. I don't think Bruno's a problem. I always said that he's the type of player that will tick away over the course of a season. Maybe 10 to 15 games, he'll return. It's just a matter of when. But I suppose, I mean, for the first 3 weeks, yes, it has been a mistake. But I think, like Eze, if he didn't return this week, you'd feel hard done by. But yeah, looking at my bus team, I'll read it out just for anyone that is listening.
Go on.
So we've got Henderson at home to Leicester. Lovely fixture, of course. Pedro Porro at home to Arsenal. Trent versus Nottingham Forest. Robinson versus West Ham. Bruno, Diogo Jota, Salah and Son in the midfield. Watkins, Isaac and João Pedro up top. So I look at that team, Johnny, and I really, really like it, to be honest. I don't know what you think.
Mate, you've got the triple Liverpool of dreams. Like that's the trio that everyone wants next week, and you've got it for 2 amazing home fixtures coming up. So you're a step ahead there with Liverpool. You've got, I think, João Pedro with his next 2 home games is like knowing he's not been called up for Brazil as well. He's on the cusp of like just if you've got a Menez or you've got an Armstrong, just get João Pedro and take the hit. Like, he could reward you with double digits in the next 2 weeks. And I still think Watkins is a good punt, because I'm still certain he starts. Like, John Duran's brilliant and done really well, but Watkins is their main man. He's not going to be drop Watkins. Like, yes, he might get 60 minutes if he's playing badly, but you look really good, mate. Like, I don't see a transfer here.
Yeah,
I don't feel the need to make a transfer.
Rodgers is also on the bench, so I think I'm playing my best 11 here.
It's the right 11. It feels like the right 11. And you're always going to want to play Son versus Arsenal at home as well. Like, I don't mind Sonny. I know I'm talking about maybe selling Sonny, but I don't mind that. And Bruno versus Southampton. Like, they're the two players people would look at and go, sell Son, sell Bruno. But actually, given their fixtures, I mean, Son, yeah, it's not the best, but I think you keep. I mean, you could sell Son to a Man City attacker. That'd be the only thing I consider. Have you looked at De Bruyne?
I have. I looked at him 2 weeks ago as well, and I don't know. I feel like I could go to De Bruyne for sure. But I want to see Rodri come back first and see what De Bruyne is doing, and see Foden come back into that team and then see what he's doing also. I feel like there's a lot of things that could change in that Pep team. Let's say Walker comes back in as well. I don't know. It kind of scrambles a lot of the positions. But yeah, that's definitely one of the potential moves I could make. Son down to a Foden or De Bruyne, providing he's fit, or Pedro Porro down. But after looking at the first 3 fixtures, I find Pedro Porro really difficult to get rid of, with a nice fixture next week after this week too. So I don't know.
Try, how much money have you got enough? Is it possible for you to go Son up to Isak up to Haaland? That requires 6.5 million. I get it. Yeah, and you can't go Son down to fodder, can you? That you can't afford Son, Isak out, Haaland, someone else in.
I wouldn't say so. It's probably a bit of a stretch.
You'd be about $1 million short. Yeah, you'd be about $1 million short. I just wonder if it's worth just sucking up the Haaland thing, knowing Isak's possibly not the best own now for a couple of away games.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm still happy to own Isak now. Like, Newcastle haven't went on any good run of like, they're not playing well, is what I'm trying to say. But maybe it might just click at some point. And you know, if it does, Isak is going to be involved in the goals. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely happy in general with the team. I think I'm going to put the armband on Salah. I can't really see anywhere else I can put it, but unless you have any suggestions.
No, man. Like, yeah. I do think if you own Haaland, you're going to go Haaland over Salah. Just like, if for those that own both.
Yeah, but I think if Haaland hadn't returned the last 2 weeks and got a hat-trick, I know it's easy for me to say that, but I feel like on paper that Forest fixture might be as good, maybe better, because it's at home. Does Haaland play at home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I understand. But no,
if you
also another point for midfielders as well. So I don't know.
True. Haaland's got Brentford at home. Salah's got Forest at home. Like, they're 2 great fixtures. It's just who you captaining for those who've got both. I'd be surprised. I think those that have both will go Haaland, just like those that had both went Haaland this week captain. All the teams I saw with both went Haaland captain. But yeah, of course you get the clean sheet and the extra point for a goal. Salah's amazing, mate. I'm desperate to get Salah in the team. Nice. In terms of big decisions, then, you reckon you'll be rolling? Have you got, how many transfers have you got banked?
I have 0 now. I have I've won.
It's
now.
A good time to roll.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting that you say you really want Salah, you're desperate to get Salah in. But I'm kind of not desperate to get Haaland in. Like, I think it's because I'm used to this. Like, I'm used to Haaland scoring hat-tricks and me not owning them.
But I would argue it's fine going without Haaland, because he's about to play Arsenal in game week 5. Like, there was a lot that wildcarded last week that wildcarded Haaland out, but all the Haaland teams at the start of the season, they all looked at it and went, by game week 4, I probably need to get Salah in. Like, it was always on our radar. The Haaland drafts were, by game week 4, you probably need Salah. And even more so now, because we've seen the points, but it was more with a view to going game week 5. Firstly, it's 2 good homes, 4 and 5. But game week 5, no one wants to captain Haaland away at Arsenal, right? So who do you captain? Salah, if you own him. Son has an all right fixture. Watkins has an all right fixture. But clearly, Salah's going to be the better option.
Yeah, I agree. I think going forward, who am I looking to get rid of if I do rule game week 4? I think it's probably going to be Bruno. And I think who I fancy is Eze, but realistically, you want him this week. But I don't think it's worth getting rid of Bruno before Southampton to bring in Eze at home to Leicester. What do you think about that?
Mate, Southampton have been dreadful, haven't they? In the
Yeah.
back, like it feels like a really good hold, Bruno. For maybe I'm not saying I'd necessarily have him long term, but definitely keep him for Southampton. Yeah,
I agree.
and it will reward you. We've seen those that stayed patient with Eze, they're rewarded. Those that stayed patient with Isak were rewarded. Like I think Bruno's another one of those. They're players that have been getting the chances, not quite had the returns, but we know the quality's there. And I think Watkins is the same, mate. Like I think Watkins we're going to be really well rewarded in a couple of weeks because the quality is absolutely there for these players. They will look same with Son game week 1, like 2 points, rubbish. Game week 2, 17 or whatever it was. Like the big players, if you stay on them long enough, tend to reward you.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's the good thing with the premium assets. Like we get them for the insurance that over a long spell they will do something. Um, yeah, I think Bruno is definitely a hold. I think Diogo Jota eventually will be a transfer out. Like if I was on Wildcard, I don't think I'd be having him. So I'm happy to own Jota now because anyone that does have him, you know, you're not getting rid of him until maybe Wildcard, and anyone that's on Wildcard can't really bring him in. It's a bit of a risk.
Yeah, it was always for me, I'll own Jota until the Champions League. Because I might keep him during the Champions League, but I know how much Slot likes to rotate that front line, and Salah's going to play every game. But I don't expect Luis Diaz and Jota to be starting every Premier League game because I think they'll be in the strongest 11, which means they'll often be in the Champions League team. And come some of the easier Premier League games, we might see Gakpo and Darwin featuring more and more. Especially with someone like Jota who's had his injury problems. This isn't a guy that has played a huge amount of minutes year on year. And to play twice a week will be too much for him. Like Slot won't do it. He's not a fitness monster like a Salah. So I do think Jota will become a problem. Not yet, but maybe once we're kind of on round 3, 4 of the Champions League, you'll see the effects of that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure. So if you were wildcarding right now, Johnny, would you have both Haaland and Salah?
Yeah, I made a wildcard draft earlier actually, and yeah, I did. I put them both in. I've got a spreadsheet up in front of me. Hang on, let me just see my wildcard team because this will be a video I'll put on my channel. I don't know to next week, but I've actually got a front 3 of Haaland, Welbeck, and João Pedro. Welbeck and João Pedro, both 5.6, and their next 2 fixtures are Ipswich at home, Forest at home. Now, sure, I would move Welbeck on, but just for those 2 games, I think Brighton are wicked. And I have Salah and actually still Jota in the wildcard team as well as Trent. But then, yeah, I won't go through the whole team. But you clearly need a lot of cheapos if you're going with Salah, Trent, Haaland. There was actually no space for Palmer, which is interesting because I do think Palmer would be a popular wildcard pick. But I wonder if Madueke, I'm not saying Madueke is going to cover Palmer, but if Madueke keeps getting starts, knowing you're paying 6.6 versus 10.5, he ain't going to get to Palmer's dizzy heights, but he might tick along quite nicely. And Madueke was dangerous again today.
Yeah, I agree. Madueke could end up being a very, very good option. It's funny, we've seen him drop in price at the start of the season and then go straight back up twice. So let's see if it becomes an option. Again, of course, you have Conference League. Do you play again the week you're back or no?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think so because I think Europe then is the week after that. I don't think it's the first week back, but I'm not sure. I know the Champions League starts the week before the other UEFA competitions. So the first match day of the Champions League, for the first time ever, they're actually doing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. And then I think the week after, so they're doing the Europa League night, they're doing Champions League on a Thursday. And then the week after, I think the Europa League will be on like a Wednesday as well, which will be interesting. There's over 1,000 people watching, which is amazing. If you want to show your support for these Sunday streams, and Chai and I are listening to what you guys think. Like if you say, go at the final whistle on a Sunday, that's what we'll do. This time slot is pretty fluid, like whether we do mornings or evenings or right off the back of the game. Let us know in the comments or in the chat or just by hitting the like button if this is a time slot you like.
Someone's saying Ten Hag out in chat. Johnny, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you were a United fan, Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out?
Mate, it'd have been gone a long time ago for me. Honestly, like I haven't seen it in a long time there at United under Ten Hag. It's the identity. Like I don't necessarily. I could accept the losing. I still couldn't tell you how Man United play. Like how long's he been there to go? What is his style? Like there's nothing that distinct. Hörsler's been at Brighton 10 minutes and we already can tell you how they'll set up, how they'll play, what their tactics are. We know what we'll get from any different player that comes into his exact system. He'll give you the same, just like De Zerbi did, just like Postecoglou did at Spurs straight away. Even Maresca at Chelsea, whether you like his results, straight away there's patterns of play there. There's nothing at from Ten Hag, very little.
Yeah, I also think kind of relying on Ugarte. Don't get me wrong, Casemiro was fairly poor today. I just don't know how much of a difference like Emmanuel Ugarte makes to that team. You know, he's not gonna transform it, I wouldn't say, but let's see. It's still early doors. You know, they could turn it on come game week 4 or 5. Let's see. I don't know.
Mate, but everyone's talking about him like he's going to be the saviour. This is a guy that couldn't get in PSG's first 11.
I can't see it happening either. I agree.
No, they're not signing Rodri here. They're signing a guy. It's not Rodri. Like, yeah, I mean. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of their recruitment. I'm not a fan of the way they set up. I mean, Garnacho went off today. He's one of the few that was showing something. Rashford stayed on. The fans booed it. Yeah, Casemiro did have a shocker, but
Diallo
don't forget that third goal. Was it Mainu who gave the ball away in the third goal? Like that was shocking too. If that was Casemiro, it'd have been hung, drawn, and quartered. Because it was Kobe Mainu, it was all right. Like he was poor again. There's a lot of poor performances.
I agree. I think Liverpool have been very, very surprising this season. I have to say, like, I didn't expect them to be this good. I thought they would have been like a bit more of a shock without Klopp. Again, they have amazing world-class players, but you know, even with such a big changeover, you expect a bit more poor performances. Like how it looks now is that they're kind of on for the league, but again, I won't speak too early. It's early doors.
Mate, they're. I'm just looking on the scout members area at the moment. Obviously, they've scored 7 goals. Man City have scored 9. In terms of XG open play all season, Liverpool are so far clear of everyone else. They're on 6.55 in open play XG. Next are actually Bournemouth, 4.99. Man United, 4.68. City, 4.66. In terms of overall expected goals this season, Man City are top because that includes the set play, 7.11. Liverpool 7.04. Then you go down to Bournemouth in third at 5.7. Like Man City and Liverpool already clearing away the best 2 attacks. I know it's a small sample, 3 game weeks. And then when we look at best defenses, Man City 2.03 XGC. Forest are actually second, and then Liverpool in third at 2.36. So Liverpool and City coming out 1 and 3 and 1 and 2 in those 2 metrics. Expected goals and expected goals conceded early on. And I think that'll be a template. I mean, Arsenal are going to feature there for the XGC, of course they are. But Liverpool super impressive, man. You need the triple up, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I think Saka in that first 20 minutes versus Brighton looked electric. Like I'm a non-owner and I was watching that and I was, I was more scared than I've ever been watching Saka. But yeah, he was, I think I've said since the start that he's probably the 3rd best asset in the game. And I'll stand by that. But I'm probably going to bring him in, I want to say, game week 6. Try avoid that City fixture and then hop on when they have that nice run.
Yeah, you got a nice placeholder there in Son or even to go up from Bruno, I guess. I'm with you. I was listening to TalkSport. I was driving. And every time Saka got the ball, it sounded like they were going to score. And I was thinking, oh, this is not the day to be a non-Saka owner because he was up against Hinselwood and it was just one of those. So fortunately, Saka we got away with it with his 5-6 points. He did clock an XG. I was again scout members area this morning. I was looking. I think he had the highest He was the highest underachiever of XG on Saturday. Saka was number 1 at like 0.9. Ollie Watkins was number 2 at like 0.7 something. So both Saka and Watkins really should have had returns more.
Yeah, it's mad when you look at it like that, and he seems to like do it no matter the fixture. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a return in that City game after I avoid him. But yeah, phenomenal player, and I think this season he's turned it up another notch. Of course, the signing of Sterling as well. It'd be interesting to see how they rotate because he will get game time. It's just a matter of when and in what fixtures. Like if it's going to be cup games or, of course, Champions League. So.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. That left-hand side is up for grabs. Like Trossard, Martinelli, Sterling now. 3 options, different skill sets. Scotland Investor says, when are you planning to wildcard, Shai? Having spoken to you throughout the last FPL season, I know your wildcard strategy is always fairly fluid, isn't it? Like you're not bookmarking in a wildcard like some are. Some will tell you, I'm definitely wildcarding in game week 6 or game week 12. You're kind of going to react to it when you need to and hold on to it for as long as possible, are you?
Yeah, exactly that. If you had asked me before Salah got that 17 pointer, I would have told you game week 6. But now, I can go back to what I was thinking and just do it when I think I need it. Like I look at my team going forward, I can easily go to a Son to a Saka, and Isaac down to a Havertz. And that there you have your cover. The only way I'd wildcard is if I feel like I really want Haaland. And I will really want him before that Southampton fixture. It's just if I want to catch the 2 before that as well. But yeah, it will be definitely after 6, I want to say. It won't be any time in the next 4 or 5, sorry. But yeah, I think Haaland will come in at some point, just not yet.
Yeah, okay. No, I think I like that. I like that. Game week 6 is the reason for those wondering why you'll hear content creators talking about game week 6 a lot. It's just an obvious time in terms of a bit of a fixture swing, especially for Arsenal. Like if we consider now game week 4 and 5, Arsenal play Spurs and then they play Man City. And because of those 2 fixtures, many went light on Arsenal. In fact, between Chai and I, we don't own a single Arsenal player. And the reason being was probably looking at 4 and 5 and not the easiest start to the season. But come game week 6, we all look at it and go, they have the best fixtures. They have some of the best players. They have the best defense and arguably one of the best attacks. Straight away, game week 6, we'll be moving to Arsenal players. Now, yes, you can do that on free transfers, but some will go, I need to reshuffle the pack and that's the time to wildcard.
Yeah,
so,
especially
I'm with you. I want to buy 1 or 2.
Yeah, if I roll this week and roll the next week, then I wildcard and I'm going into the next game week after that with 2 free transfers. So I do like the idea of it for sure. Like I could shuffle my team around and use the transfers now, or I could just hold off and wildcard a bit earlier. So we'll see. Definitely not keen on the wildcard just yet anyway. Good question. So, Johnny, what do you think about being... I know we use the word template a lot at the start of the season. But do you think you want to start shuffling your teams with maybe a few more differentials, with like the likes of Mbeumo, for example, or Welbeck, like you mentioned?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say my team isn't template because I made choices to go, say, Son instead of Saka. I've taken a hit to bring in Watkins that, I mean, if you go with the masses, then yeah, he's still 30% owned. But if you go, I don't know, FPL Twitter, Watkins is a proper differential, as you know. So yeah, no, I'm kind of all right. Like I think, I mean, my plan loosely is to bring in a Liverpool player, whether that's Luis Diaz, Szoboszlai, or Salah with surgery. So yeah, and again, like I've got Trent and then Fodder on the bench. Again, most will have say Trent with a Porro. That would probably be the template, or Trent with a Gvardiol, or Trent with an Arsenal defender. So yeah, I guess my strategy isn't even necessarily thinking about is it template or not. It's just picking the guys I think will get the most points, and that was Son instead of Saka. That was a budget defense instead of Gvardiol and Porro, rightly or wrongly. So yeah. My plan though for sure is you need 3 Liverpool for the next 2 home fixtures, and at the moment I've only got 2.
Yeah, I agree. I look at my own team and, Bruno is still a massive differential for me. Son as well, like you said, Watkins, João Pedro, and I think Diogo Jota, small bit, is still maybe a differential. I don't know, how many people do you think own Jota in the, what am I trying to say, in the X community?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably around a third, maybe. I think a lot of the analytics guys don't own Jota. I know that for sure. Because like FPL Review, for example, will tell you not to go there because of his minutes risk. And then from the rest, it's probably a 50-50 split. So it probably is around a third. Like I think he's still a very good pick for the next 2 weeks. And actually, you look at today, the game didn't really fall his way, but you get the number 9 playing for Liverpool against a very leaky-looking Man United today. And actually, you could argue, perhaps unlucky to only come off with the 3 points,
Bruno's negative differential, says Brian. Yeah, definitely not looking great. Well, do you want to take some questions, Johnny, before we close things up? We'll maybe grab.
Yeah, I think we've got. I think we've got 1 minute left, so we can do a couple of quick fires. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with the international break, Johnny, hopefully we don't see too many injuries. I know we often see a lot of injuries, so it's often a good time to wildcard as well. But hopefully nothing major comes up.
Yeah, I mean, some of the South Americans you worry about in terms of flight home. The good news: Colombia, Argentina both play Tuesday, not Wednesday. Brazil are the Wednesday. Liverpool play Saturday. And yeah, you look out for injuries. But actually, I wonder if we worry too much about international break injuries. It's no different to a Champions League or a Carabao Cup injury, and we don't seem to worry about them in the same way. Sure, it's 2 games instead of 1, but I think, yeah, all eyes will be on internationals for sure. Hold your transfers because things can happen. Yeah.
A question from Morg Boy says, how many players would you consider need changing in order to hit the wildcard? I'll leave you take that, Jenny.
I mean, you'd need to change a good 5 or 6, I think, to make the wildcard worth it, yeah.
But what if, all right, let's say it's 4, but one of them is Haaland, for example. That's the equivalent of 2 players at this point.
Yeah. I don't think so. For me, it's always been it needs to be considerably more than 4. You could argue this season the wildcard is less precious though, because we can roll transfers and we'll be able to do more little mini wildcards. So yeah, I guess that's an interesting debate you've got to have, and it's down to personal preference, that one. Awesome guys to be streaming on these Sunday streams. Do let us give us your feedback if you're enjoying them. Me and Chai are a new combination for Scout. We're going to be doing 40-minute streams every Sunday, and I think that's probably us. We've run our course today.
Yeah, cheers, Johnny. It's been a pleasure as always. I really enjoy doing these streams, of course. Still getting used to. I know I'm a bit rusty with the technology. I should be a bit better. But no, it's always a pleasure, and thank you everyone.